and the blade going to shoot it out. Never let go, never lose control. Is it okay to back up? No, we never back up. Only feed towards the outfeed table against the rotation of the blade. Against the rotation. So reach over, keep pushing forward. What if it gets stuck? You can't move it. Turn it off. You can keep both hands on and just stop it with your knee. Or you can just keep one hand tightly on there, reach down, and turn it off. Either way. It's okay to turn it off in the middle of a cut. That's all right. Better than trying to pull it backwards or lift it up. You never want to do that. There are some special setups. Have to be approved by me, obviously. But we can actually tilt the fence. We can tilt this fence back and make a miter cut on here. Did you know that? We can tilt the fence. It's a special setup. We can taper a leg on a table or a chair. You can taper a leg. It's another special setup. You actually put the piece up here. You have a mark with tape. You have a place marked where you're going to start. You put the piece above the blade. You have a stop block set up back here so that the leg doesn't take off on you. But it requires a big special setup that you can taper a leg. And you're starting the cut, means you're starting the cut halfway through the piece or more. It's a special setup. But for what you're going to use it for every day, squaring up a board, you're going to use the planer first, unless the piece is kind of twisted like this one. In this case, you use the joiner first, then the planer, then back here to do the edge, and then over to our table saw. Any other rules on the table saw? Or I mean on the joiner? Any other rules? 14 inches or more. Never shave off or cut off more than 1/16 of an inch at a time. Never remove the guard. Make sure you push your wood far enough past the knife so the guard returns over and covers the knives. What about stock that's painted or that has a lot of knots or cracks? Can we run that through the joiner? Never run anything through that has paint or has a lot of knots or cracks. Or is really warped. We can't do it. Which edge are we going to choose? The one that has a concave or a convex shape? We want the piece that is concaved, has concave here. We want it to touch here and touch here. And it's okay if the middle's a little bit high. If the middle is high here and it's not touching here or here, like this piece, if it's rocking back and forth, that means the middle's high. We cannot run this way because it'll start off cutting here and then it'll switch cutting over on the other side of the apex, and you're going to get a rocker instead of a flat piece. This one, even this one's too high in the middle. So what can we do before we run it through the joiner? What do we have to do to fix it so that we can run it through here? Anybody remember? The bandsaw. We draw a straight line on it, get a straight piece of wood or a straight edge, and draw a line on it, take it over to the bandsaw, and cut on that line. Bring it back over here, check it, make sure that it has 2 contact points, not just one. Got to have 2 contact points. At the very beginning and the very end, or somewhere in between, so it's not just sitting at one point rocking. The outfeed table is preset and needs no further adjustment. That's definitely on the safety test. Anything else? We're going with the grain. What about end grain? Can we surface end grain on here? No, never do the end grain. Even if your piece of wood is more than 14 inches, never, ever do end grain on here. It's extremely dangerous. What usually happens is you get towards the end and the whole piece right here cracks and snaps off. And it flies off usually. Once that board becomes shorter, it tips into the blade and you've got a big accident. So we never ever work end grain on this machine. Is that it? Is that all we need to know about our joiner for safety? How many people are allowed to operate it? Just one. Never have two operators. If you have a really long piece of wood, what do we call the person that's going to support it and not pull on it? What do we call that person that supports the wood if it's really long? A tail off person. They're going to help tail off. When you get to the very end and push it through, it doesn't tip up and pull you closer to the blade. So we could have somebody supporting it from underneath at the very end. Call that the tail off person. Same with the table saw. Same with the planer. We can have somebody tailing off on the planer as the wood comes out. They are a helper. They are as if there's an extra table out there. But you are the operator. One person operating, and that's it.